The four pillars. So we created the four pillars
This
2 or 3 years ago. The intention was to be able to analyze portfolios and evaluate multiple properties altogether. We restructured this and changed it a little bit. Is the cash requirements are not cash requirements, it's reserves when you're looking at a portfolio. It transfers right over when you're looking at a property to see just a snapshot, a quick snapshot of how it's going to perform overall. The first pillar is value. Value is the value of the property. Using our previous example of 100,000, the value of that property would be 100,000. Even if you have $105,000 into the property, the value what you could sell it for is 100,000. Now, there's two ways to look at value, and one it goes a little more in depth. That you can look at it as what's the value of the property in its entirety, or you can look at it as what's the value of the property if I have to sell it. Generally, I take 7% off of whatever the value is. So that $100,000 property is worth $100,000 to me, but if I have to sell it, it's only worth 93 because I have to pay closing cost commissions. It's important to look at that if you're looking at value from that perspective. Now, debt is the second pillar. That is how much your loan is on the property, how much you owe against the property. And the difference between those two is the equity position. Third is cash flow. And we break out the cash flow pillar into three different sections. First one is expenses. So expenses could be utilities, repairs, maintenance. And you can look at a property, you can estimate it through the year and look at it through the year, or you can just do it for 1 month. Generally, when I look at a property, I evaluate what a property is going to cost me on an annual basis and what my cash flow is going to be on an annual basis. Principal, interest, taxes, insurance. Principal interest, when the loan is paid off, that goes away. Taxes and insurance never go away. Last is what you're left over with, your net income, what ends up going through to you or what it ends up costing you on an annual basis to have the property. Next is cash needed. So when you're looking at doing an investment, you really are looking at three different items. This is the amount of cash that you're going to need for the investment. Once again, we're talking about long-term holds here. You need your down payment, you need your closing costs and repairs. Going back to that example, 100,000, you're buying the property for 90 and you have closing costs of 5,000. What are your repair costs in addition to that? And I think of repair costs as what is it going to take for this property to be able to be up and rented and running such that you're getting the income. The last one, I always recommend having reserves. You need to have some cash reserves. You're going to hold the property long term. You need cash reserves sitting on the side for the inevitable carpet, paint, rent ready that is going to happen at some point in the future. Your tenant won't always be there. It may be 2 years down the road. It may be 10 years down the road. It may be after you sell it, but expect to have some cash reserves for that. So here are the four pillars: value, debt, cash flow, and the cash needed.